Richard Fowler. And sir, the question you have selected is question number 5. What do you see currently as the most important function of a U.S. Congressman, and what is it you can really do for us should you in fact be elected?
The most important function for a U.S. Congressman, and what I would intend to do, is ask the hard questions and get the answers, and then report them back to each of you. I've been a practicing attorney for over 30 years. I have clientele, or I've represented people in each of the counties within this district. I have found in talking with people, talking with juries, talking with the appellate court, talking with judges, talking with other individuals, that information is extremely important. A congressman's obligation is to the people who elect that congressman, all of the people within the district. You need to know what's going on and why it's going on. Obama administration, you recall the promises he made to you? He said, we will open the doors so that you can see and listen to what we do. Instead, when he wanted to get his health care bill through, he closed those doors. Backroom deals were going on and on. Votes were bought. It's an outrage. A congressman needs to be the watchdog, put the backroom politics aside, and overturn and reverse, in particular, Obamacare. That's what a congressman needs to do. Everything needs to be open and clear to each of you as to what's going on and why. I would ask the hard questions and get the answers for it.
Thank you, sir. Next question. Mr. Culver, the question you have selected is?
Number 15.
Question number 15. Do you support a moratorium on domestic offshore drilling in light of the recent BP oil well situation?
Well, we should be prepared for worst case scenario, and obviously we weren't in this situation. When you think about like fire departments in big cities, they practice worst case. And what happened with this oil well, we weren't prepared. I think solutions can be put in place. We need to be careful that we don't put a moratorium on our energy situation, because right now we spend $1 billion a day going to other countries that don't necessarily support our way of thinking. And so we need to have energy independence in this country. So what we need to do is figure out a way to take care of a worst case situation. Right now they're experimenting one thing after another. And this should have been figured out ahead of time. And they should even now be figuring out, well, if these things happen in the future, what do we have in place to get there within 24 or 48 hours to take care of it? But no, a moratorium is not the way to go, because there are better and quicker solutions and to keep our energy coming to us, which is so vital to our economy. And like I said, we do not want that to be dependent on foreign oils.
Thank you, sir. That brings us to the end of round 1. Before we slide into round 2, just some reminders of some things. The broadcast of this is being recorded for CATV, cable access television. It will be broadcast tomorrow evening, that's Friday at 7, and then Sunday at 8 o'clock, so you can see it there. Again, we welcome our audience from News Talk 1190 WOWO that are listening live, and we would just like to tell them, since they can hear us but not see us, it's a nice full room, and it's good to see this many people that are here. And I would ask, if you don't mind raising your hand, I know it's very dangerous because these people up here have their spies everywhere. Do we have any precinct committee people in the room? That is a very good number of people. Do we have any people in the room who've ever listened to the Pat Miller program on WOWO? Just thought I'd try it. You people will get an extra brownie fudge sundae tonight from the Down Center. Randy Downs will buy that for you. I'll give you his license plate number card. You can line up afterwards. Also, right now that we're between rounds, if you have a 3x5 card and you've written down a question you'd like to have considered for tonight, please hold it up. Just hold it straight up, and we'll have people come around and collect those cards from you. And as the volunteers are collecting those cards, we are going to move into round 2. And so this is now round 2 of 4 rounds. And the first question in round 2 goes to Randy Borer. And the question number that Mr. Borer has selected.
Democrat.
I'll do the comedy, sir. Question number one. What is the first piece of legislation you would introduce if in fact you are elected?
For the last 2 years in the Indiana General Assembly, I have authored a state spending cap. With my experience on the House Ways and Means Committee and the State Budget Committee, of which there are only members of the Indiana General Assembly that serve on that committee, I know the importance of a balanced budget. And obviously, in traveling so far, just at 2,000 miles around this district in the last about 2.5 weeks, one of the primary concerns amongst so many of the precinct committeemen is really what are we doing with the budget and what are we doing with the trillions of dollars that we're wasting. I believe that the spending cap on the national level, a balanced budget amendment, is the first priority. And because of my experience over the last 9 years in the Indiana General Assembly, I understand the importance of that, I believe, as well as anybody. Thank you.
All right, thanks, sir. And Mr. Culver, the number you selected, sir?
Number 15 again.
Oh, we need to pick it up.
How much is that? Number 12.
Question number 12. Do you identify more with the Tea Party movement or the Republican Party in Congress? Will that mean for you working, what will that mean for your working relationship with the Republican leadership?
Well, the Tea Party movement is a voice saying government needs to cut back on its spending and its disregard for fiscal responsibility, and I'm 100% for that. That is also a platform of the Republican Party. We are to be a party that's known for a fiscal conservative attitude. So I think they go hand in hand, and it's a strong voice, and I'm grateful for the Tea Party and the movement that they've been having. I know there's some discussion about, well, when they might put forward a candidate and the Republican Party might, the leadership have someone else, and that probably is where this question comes from. But we really are on the same track, and we need to work together, because together we're fighting the same battle, and that battle is for our future and the fiscal irresponsibility that's going on in Washington, and that jeopardizes not only our current standard of living, but our children and our children's grandchildren's standard of living. We need to curb government spending, and we need to work together, because together we can grab back Congress this year and Senate and start getting legislation that is for prosperity in America.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Thorne, the last time you had question number 5, and this time this question is question number 2. Can you name a Democratic member of the U.S. House of Representatives you think you could work with on issues important to Northeast Indiana?
I cannot. However, I would, in Congress, be open to discussion, meeting with every congressman, Democratic, Republican alike, as well as independent. I think it's important that you have and understand the different opinions that everyone, the members of Congress has. But I think as a congressman from this district, as congressmen throughout the country, it's important that each of them be responsible to the voters. I mentioned that in the last question I had. The point being that our values need to be presented and ensured in Congress. We talked about the balanced budget. You've got to live within your means. We talked about, and should talk about job creation. Congressmen, with the Democrats and Republicans, have to have the same goals. These congressmen have to understand you just cannot follow the leadership, for example, of the Democratic Party that says, you're going to do this. If you don't do it for us, we're not going to support you in the next primary election. That has to stop. We have to have every member of Congress understand what's important to the individual people and work for them, not for the heads of the Democratic Party, for example. And I would give that message to each Democrat that I meet. The point being, with jobs, job creation, you've got to balance the budget. And no more closed-door politics. That is important, and that's the message I would give to the other Democratic.
Thank you, sir. The next question